everyone, this is Mehak here, and we're back for part 2 with Sean Sweeney and Matt Rouse. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, go do that first because it covers performance max, geo tracking, why SEO isn't dead, and a lot of practical stuff about where brands are quietly losing money. Part 2 picks up in a different gear. This one actually gets into AI disclosure in advertising, whether AI is actually going to take jobs and what that shift really looks like from the inside. And here's the thing, Sean and Matt don't agree on everything in this one, which honestly makes it more interesting. So let's dive right into it.
Your hosts, Matt Rouse and May Heckenham, welcome you to the show. The Digital Marketing Masters Podcast. Talk about advertising and SEO in the age of AI with our special guests. The Blues Brother of pay-per-click, the Chicago search man, Sean Sweeney.
Some of our clients don't have a creative agency, can't afford one.
Right.
So we're trying to develop a streamlined creative process where if they don't even have a lot of assets, using an image, building out a video, knowing that it's AI based, like they'll know, that we're not messing around. But then also we can build creative that suits LinkedIn, Meta, et cetera, that kind of will spit it out for those particular specs as well. Like I know Canva can do some of that, but not exactly the way we need it. I wanted to always focus on full funnel marketing, using good data and driving outcomes. But what I'm realizing now is creatives, I wouldn't say it's becoming a commodity, not at all. My friends would kill me if I actually believe it. But I do think it's getting a little bit more commoditized. As long as there's some authenticity behind the brand, they don't care the consumers won't care if there's an AI generated ads for the client or for the brand, right? And so if we can offer something that can fill the gap for a short period of time for our clients, I think we should be able to do that as a service.
Yeah. I think it depends. It depends a bit on what type of brand it is.
Yeah.
And I think also, and I was going to mention this earlier about authenticity in marketing. Like, let's face it, some of the biggest brands in the world, they have a beautiful supermodel in a tiny dress laying with a tiger on top of a white pedestal. This is not an authentic reflection of real life, right? People can take a grain of salt with reality in advertising. Is this real or is this slop? And I don't think that is a comparison. And also, I know for a fact that no one's going to know the difference 6 months from now. We're already at the point that basically no one can tell. Everybody thinks they can tell because when they think of that, they think of times that they could tell, which are in the past. Right.
Well, it's funny. I think a lot about, before he kind of went off the deep end, Elon Musk was talking about, someone asked him if we're in, is this real life or are we in a simulation? And he used I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer my whole life. And he used the example of Rockstar Games, Red Dead Redemption. And he said, look at where we went from 1980 with Pong to Red Dead Redemption in the 2000s. I think it's 2000 teens it came out, or maybe earlier than that, 2000, the aughts maybe. And he's like, look at the realization of those worlds within that short a time span. And his point was, it's like, he could see why people feel like we're in a simulation because we're going to go from Red Dead Redemption to what's out there now. Like I was looking at GTA is coming out with their new version and I saw the visuals and you're just
they?
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at the visuals and you're like, what the heck? It just looks so real, cinematic. And even these Star Wars games coming out. So it's I agree with you. I think you're not going to be able to distinguish at some point soon.
No.
Whether that's a year from now, 2 years from now, I think creatively you're not going to be able to distinguish, which is also why I feel like to have that trust with the consumer, we still need to signify what's AI and what's not. Certainly in the advertising, I feel like that's a fair shake to consumers to let them know. And I don't think it's harmful to the brands.
You see, I'm not on board with that, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
No one in advertising in the past, except for maybe like 20 something years ago,
Yeah.
has had to say this was used with special effects, or this is not an actual McDonald's hamburger. It's painted. It has green paper instead of lettuce
Oh, that's a
in
good
it,
point. Yeah.
right? Like
These are not really
props
burgers.
were used in this video. Like the only warning you get is like it looks like somebody's driving through the mountains, but there's a little asterisk that says professional driver on closed course,
Right.
which is still fake
Right.
because you're not a professional driver and you're not driving on a closed course. So
Yeah.
the idea of real versus fake in advertising is a complete sham. It's never been real.
Oh, wow. I think Matt just said something that sounds controversial, but is actually historically accurate. I think advertising has never been real. The supermodel with the tiger on the white pedestal, the perfectly stacked McDonald's burger that nobody has ever actually received through a drive through window, none of it was ever authentic. And here's a fun fact. I used to work for ad films as an assistant director, and I can say that the idea that AI somehow crosses a line that advertising has never respected in the first place is a little bit of a stretch. Because even with the production houses I've worked with before, the question was never, is this real? The question has always been, does this work? And if not, what can make it work?
I get that, but now
Right.
we're in a very litigious world, right?
Mhm.
And I also know that someone's on trial. I think OpenAI is on trial for that kid committing suicide because ChatGPT told them to. And I think it's not too far of a reach for someone to do the same thing against an advertiser that didn't disclose that that hot girl with the tiger on the white pedestal wasn't real. Because I do think there's a lot of people out there where reality is very distorted. And
I think that that's true.
that's why I think it needs to be disclosed as a cover, if for no other reason than a legal cover for the brands.
Yeah.
You know, to be like, hey, this is AI. We're telling you this is AI. Don't do this at home. Kind of the same thing what they would do with the stunt.
I think Sean's counter is actually the more practical one here. Because forget the ethics debate for a second, think about the liability. Disclosing AI use isn't just about being honest with consumers, but it's about protecting the brand legally. That framing makes a lot more sense in the world we're actually operating in right now. I think both of them are right about different parts of this, which is what makes it a genuinely interesting debate for us.
Yeah. Living in a world where AI exists, I think we need to have the general understanding that things are potentially not what they seem. And I don't think that any amount of labeling is going to fix that problem because misinformation's not labeled. So do we just let the misinformation run? And I think from an advertising standpoint, if you tell the AI to write a book about beekeeping and it spits out the book and you say, make a cover for this book, and it makes a cover and you upload it to KDP and you sell that book, I think you should label that as AI generated.
Yeah.
But if I write the book and I tell it what I want to be on the cover and then I go tweak that in Canva, I don't think I should have to label that as AI content.
I agree with
Because
that.
I wrote it, and I even though AI was used in the production,
Yeah.
I think a perfect example is AI use in the music world.
Oh,
If you say, write me a song or generate me a song, a blues song about Taco Tuesday, since it's on my shirt,
I don't love it.
and it makes a Taco Tuesday song, that's not your song. But if you're a songwriter and you write a song and the AI generates the music with your lyrics, somehow, according to like music distribution companies, that you're not a musician. But if you're a songwriter and you gave it to another band and that band generated the music and made the song, now you're a musician, even though in both cases you had nothing to do with the generation of the music.
Not the
Right, so
music.
there's
You got
this-
publishing rights to the lyrics.
Right, but you made the lyrics, right? So
Yeah.
does that make you a musician or a songwriter or not? And that's a question. And some people will be, if you use AI, it's not, but if you use real musicians, it is. And I'm like, that's a double standard. And
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that we should all generate AI music. I'm just saying that there are too many double standards in it, and that
No.
we shouldn't bias against the use of AI compared to the use of CGI or the use of other technologies that have happened in the past. Everybody says, well, everybody's going to lose their job from AI, but everybody was going to lose their job from the Industrial Revolution, and everybody was going to lose their job from the internet. So,
Yeah.
are
That's
they?
another topic. Yeah, we can go into like at length, but it was interesting.
I did write a book about it.
Yeah, you did. Yes. Well, part 2, version 2.
Right.
I love it.
Version 2.
So I was at this is really interesting. I was at this event called the Bureau of Advertising, or Bureau of Digital, rather. It's been around for a long time. I was not aware of it, and I went to my first event there, and I was just blown away. I mean, it was one of those situations where it's like you want to be in the room with people where you're not the smartest guy in the room. You want to be in the room with the smartest people. That was the room I was in. And it was mind blowing. And one of the things that people go up there and display, like, here's what we built for our agents. It was all agency owners and developing agencies developer agencies as well as media agencies. And it was only like 40 of us. And people go up there and like show what they built for a solution for themselves or for their clients, or whatever. And they really like walk through the detail of it. It was really great. And they're thinking behind it and all that. There's one gentleman who built essentially a fully automated AI agent content agency. And he walked us through it, and he named all the agents by name, like Bob and Jill and
Right. I totally do that too.
And man, it sparked quite the debate internally between people in the group. Like, one side was like, you shouldn't put a human name to a machine. You're devaluing the value of humans when you do that. And then and machines aren't going to take over human jobs anyway in mass, right? That was one side. The other side was like, this is where it's going. You might as well get there as fast as you can. I'm giving you a roadmap to show you how to do it. I tend to be on the first side in terms of like, I don't think it's going to take as many jobs as people think. I do think that there are certain levels of jobs that will be affected more, and certain types of jobs that, things that involve math, like accounting. And I things like, I do think it already is hurting our creative friends in the industry that don't adopt these tools and make themselves better. But I do think that as long as people upskill and have these skill sets to work with these tools to make their job skills better for themselves, they're going to be worth more to the company that they work for. But man, it was a real discussion where people felt strongly on both sides. Like, one's like, this is where it's going. You better get there as fast as you can, or else you're going to lose. And the other was like, humans have to be at the center of this, or else you're going to lose.
Naming AI agents Bob and Jill sparked exactly the debate that's happening everywhere right now. Are we moving too fast or not too fast enough? And I think honestly, both sides have a point. The people saying humans need to stay central aren't wrong, and the people saying get on the roadmap or get left behind aren't wrong either. The tension between those two things is basically the whole conversation about AI and work right now. What I will say though, working in creative and seeing this every day, is that people who are upskilling alongside the tools are becoming genuinely more valuable, not less.
I'm on the roadmap side. And
yeah,
the reason being, besides the fact that I wrote 2 books about it and spent 4.5 years researching it now, I believe there is going to be significant job loss. And I also believe there's going to be significant job creation, but I think there's going to be a gap between those two things.
Yeah.
And I really believe that there's going to be winners and losers when it comes to job loss and things, when that kind of process is really starting, which it's kind of already started.
Yeah.
And I think that you really have a choice, and that choice is, are you going to prepare for the dip and getting out the other side, or do you want to try and win now before the dip so that you don't have to have the problem of hoping that there's a job for you or creating a job for yourself on the other side. And that's kind of a choice that people have to make for themselves.
I think Matt just framed the AI and jobs conversation in the most useful way I've heard it put. It's not about whether there will be a tip, it's about whether you are preparing for it now or hoping to survive it later. And I think that is genuinely a choice people can make. Working in creative, I feel that pressure every single day. The tools are moving fast. Upskilling isn't an option anymore. I honestly didn't know how to use half the tools before I joined Matt. And by the time I got used to them, their capabilities went up like 3 times just in the matter of 6 months.
Time horizon too, right? Like, what's your time horizon to where you're going
Right.
to potentially retire or whatever? Yeah.
Look, everybody can bet against a technology if they want to. And the technology side is not always right. It doesn't always win. Look at a bunch of the crap that happened around like Meta Horizons and NFTs. And there's lots of technologies that people were like, I'm not on board with this. And then it didn't come to fruition and they're better for it. But I don't think this is one of them. I think this is, as like my friend Marv says, this is the new internet. This is the next thing. And
I agree
it's
with
not the next thing as in the next trend. It's the next thing as in it's the age of AI now, just like we had the age of the steam engine and the industrial revolution and the silicon revolution. And I think we're at a point that it's really hard to figure it out, but if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right. I agree with you 100%. I say this all the time. I think this is as big as when the internet broke in the early 2000s, you know, and or the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
it was so new to us, and we were all freaking out. Like, is this going to mean we're going to lose our jobs? And like when computers, people felt the same way. Like, we're going to lose jobs. When the credit card came out, it was like, we're not going to have money anymore. It just didn't come to fruition. Those fears didn't come to fruition. But I do agree that this is different, and I think it is a seismic shift in how our society is going to operate, not just around advertising at all, but just in general, how our society is going to operate. And I'll take it to a personal level. You know, my daughter, she's graduating high school this year, and she wants to go into musical theater. She'd love to be on Broadway someday. I don't know if she'll ever get there, but that's what she would love to do. And her mom and I are like, oh, it's a tough road, man. It's a tough road. You don't make a lot of money, you know, but all I keep thinking about in the back of my head is like, well, if we all do lose our jobs and we have guaranteed income from our governments, because we have to supplement people living and spending in an economy, what are people going to do? They're going to go see shows. They're going to go see entertainment. They're going to want that human connection that they're not getting in the office or getting through work.
I think Sean just made a point that doesn't get enough airtime in the AI and jobs conversation. If automation does displace a significant amount of work, people are going to need somewhere to put their time and their money and their need for human connection. And I think live performance, art, entertainment, those things become more valuable, not less. So the human touch doesn't disappear in the world of automation. It might actually become the thing people seek out the most. So in that case, Sean's lovely daughter might be onto something.
I think that is plausible, right?
I do. I agree. Yeah.
I think it just depends how long it's going to take. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like, will it take 5 years, 10 years? Who knows? But I agree that I think it's coming. It's at some level. So I don't want to downplay that. I don't think it's going to cause a lot of layoffs. It already has. Like, look at Amazon. Amazon just came out and said that they now just hit 1 million robots in their warehouses. 1 million robots in their warehouses already. Like,
yeah, that was like 4 or 5 months ago. They hit 1 million.
Yeah, I just heard it this last.
Well, I think it was 1 million Amazon wide, and now they're saying it's 1 million just in warehouses, because that doesn't count the other shipping. And I grew up when I was very young in a resource town, a coal mining town, and everyone I knew's parents worked at the coal mine, driving the coal truck or driving the forklift or whatever, right?
Yeah.
All of that is automated. There's
Yeah.
all the coal trucks are automatic. Most of the equipment, heavy equipment, is automatic. You know, the trains and stuff. I don't even know if they have people on them anymore. I mean, it's a different world now. And I think it's very difficult for people to kind of see the forest from the trees, because in your life, maybe nothing's automated, but that does not mean that automation has not taken over a lot of the world. And a lot of that is going to be even more quickly automated as robotics, automation, and AI come together.
Yeah, the robotics thing is really interesting to me. I do think that in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll all have robots in our home doing chores. I mean, I believe that personally.
I'm already angry I don't have one. I'm like,
They're waiting for the cost.
they're not like, it's not even a cost thing right now. It's so close to being capable enough to make it worth spending the money. But also, my family really needs a new car versus a robot. So I'm like,
One's
can
a little
I-
more useful.
so bad. Definitely, I'm on board with getting a robot. Sean, I wish we could talk all day, but we do have to cut it off at some point.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to reach out and talk to you, where's the best place for them to do that?
You can always look me up on LinkedIn, Sean Sweeney, SEAN, Sweeney with the E at the end, SWEENEY.
And that's a wrap on part 2. And honestly, one of the most honest conversations about where advertising, AI, and the future of work are actually headed. If there's one thing to take away from this for everyone who's joined us today, is that the shift is real and it's already happening. And the people who are preparing right now are going to be in a very different position to those who aren't. And I think that's inevitable. So go connect with Sean on LinkedIn for updates. The link is in the show notes. Make sure you've got the part 1 if you haven't already. Follow the show, and I and Matt are going to see you in the next one.